Good morning all and welcome back once again to I Like Watches. In my hands I have the newly released San Martin SN0130, but not the GMT variation, the standard variation with an NH35. And of course, like the SN0129, which has probably gone on to be one of San Martin's best ever selling models, this watch, like I said already, did start life as a GMT watch, but there were a lot of people out there saying, please, enough of the GMTs. Can we just have some normal watches? And of course, San Martin was listening, so they then went on to produce the SN0129 with an NH35, and they've now produced this incredible watch with an NH35, so it's available as a GMT or as a standard three-handed watch. Great decision, and it's one of the reasons why I really like San Martin watches. Not only are they impeccably well finished, but they listen to their audience, they listen to reviewers, they read your comments, and they try to give you what you want. Now, interestingly, this watch has been supplied for the review not by the San Martin official store, but by Jiangun Watches. And if you're not familiar with Jiangun Watches, they are a sister brand to San Martin, owned by the owners that own San Martin. And Jiangun are going to offer some really quite unique and original watches, but they're also offering some San Martin watches on their websites and also through a store on AliExpress. So I'll put links to the website and the AliExpress store where you can buy this watch. Now, of course, I have already reviewed the NH34 powered GMT version, so this is going to be a slightly quicker overview because not a lot has changed really. The biggest change, of course, is the movement, NH35 instead of an NH34, so 3 hands instead of 4 hands. Some really quite interesting and unusual dial options available. They have sent me the Aventurine dial version to show you. Who doesn't love an Aventurine dial? Yeah, it's a really cool effect, isn't it? And like the NH34 powered version, this watch is just incredible to look at. They really are setting the standards when it comes to steel finishing, and now they are offering some really quite interesting and beautiful, more original design watches. They're not just making homage watches. And one thing that this watch is offering over the equally impressive SN0129 is, I think the bracelet on this is better. It's got a bit more of a sort of Grand Seiko or Seiko look to it. You've got a beautifully crisp polished facet flanking the center links, and that theme continues with the case. You've got a polished facet running around the outside of the bezel. The clasp outer shell also has a polished facet, so there's not just pop and shine on the dial because of those beautifully finished applied indices and that really quite gorgeous aventurine dial. You get some light play all the way around your wrist thanks to the design of the bracelet and the clasp. It is a slightly chunkier and heavier watch when compared to the SN0129. I've got an SN0129 actually, and of course I've got this SN0130. Would you like a comparison between the two? Would you like to see them side by side? Would you like to know every single difference between the SN0129 and the SN0130? If you would, let me know in the comments section. I think a lot of the differences are fairly obvious, but sometimes I think people just like it to be laid out in a video. So yeah, guys, I'm happy to make that video if that is something you are interested in. 100 meters of water resistance, which given the sort of chunkiness and substantial nature of this case is actually a bit of a surprise. It doesn't have a rotating diver's bezel. You've just got the 1 through 12 on the bezel. So yeah, I wouldn't expect more than 100 meters. It is enough. But it does come with the on-the-fly adjustment clasp, which a lot of people love. I think this clasp has taken San Martin watches to another level, and they seem to be offering almost all of their watches now that come on stainless steel bracelets with this or a similar version to this with the on-the-fly adjustment system. We're almost disappointed now if we see a San Martin without this sort of on-the-fly adjustment clasp, aren't we? Sapphire crystal, double domed, AR coating. I mean, this watch has everything we have come to expect From San Martin watches, beautiful applied indexes, applied logo, beautifully framed date window at the 3 o'clock, really nicely finished hands. They do regulate their movements as well, so when it turns up it should be running with an acceptable level of accuracy, better than the stated accuracy that Seiko gives with their movements. So yeah, another great decision from San Martin to turn this SN0130 into a standard 3-handed option for those people that didn't want this watch with a GMT movement. All that's left for you to do now is to decide between the SN0129 or SN0130, and if you want this one, you've got one of 4 colour options to choose. Right guys, thanks for watching.